Hello all, this has been weighing heavily on my mind lately. My son is in elementary school and one of his friends is special needs, we will call him Elliot. He's a very sweet boy but needs extra help with a lot of things including using the restroom. I am very close with his parents and they have been family friends for years. Our whole family hangs out, including grandparents, often. It was the day of my son's party and about half of the kids were dropped off and the other half had their parents leave. This is about the time I should mention I did go to school for nursing for a bit but ended up dropping out, so I do have some experience but not a lot. I'm running around helping all the kids do their activity, get food, and so on. Elliot comes up and tugs on my shoulder saying he needs to go potty and needs my help. Because of his individual needs it takes around 20 minutes to help him use the restroom. It's not a quick thing at all. I said, "Oh sweetheart, I can't help you, so you will need to go to your parents, okay?" He told me that they were gone and to ask for you. My mother-in-law walking up. She said I told them you had a handle on it and they should take a few hours to go and have fun, so they left. I'll watch the kids, you go do what you need to do. And she handed me his bag full of bathroom stuff. I was furious with rage and embarrassment and pity for this child. I kept it calm for Elliot, but it's my son's birthday party and all I can think is one. I didn't volunteer for this. And I want to watch my son enjoy his party too. I would be furious if I left my child with somebody I knew and trusted, and came back and they were gone for 20 minutes with a stranger watching my kid. And 3. My mother-in-law did not have the right to say I do something I'm not comfortable with. I told Elliot I'm sorry I can't help you today. Then I turned to my mother-in-law, took her out of earshot and told her she would have to figure it out or call his parents to come back, that I could not do this today and leave the kids that I'm responsible for. Elliot looked a little shocked when I told him no, but then just looked at my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was beyond shocked and furious. She eventually was able to get a hold of his parents with my husband's help, but she has been very short with me since. She told my husband that since I was basically a nurse that I shouldn't have a problem doing that for Elliot and she could have watched the kids just fine. My husband told her that she shouldn't have assumed I would be able to help Elliot. Elliot's parents were annoyed but apologetic to me, they had assumed it was my idea. I do feel horrible. But I don't feel comfortable doing this for Elliot and stepping away from the party for so long. I also want to clarify that for some of the kids I was the only adult that they knew at the party. Comment 1. NTA. I've been a nurse almost 20 years and have never worked in pediatrics other than occasionally subbing as a school nurse and handing out ice packs and band-aids. I've not done any kind of catheterization or bowel interventions on anyone in 15+ years. I would never want to assume a child's individual needs and assist them medically to the bathroom in non-work setting without detailed instructions from the parent, having clear consent, etc. This is on your mother-in-law and the parents who left the child without confirming his needs were met and instructing you in the process. Comment 2. NTA. My husband and I would never leave our disabled child with others in those sorts of circumstances. We would never presume that someone would take care of her under any circumstances, and we either split up, if our able child has something to do or attend, or decline invitations outright if they won't work for us/our family/our disabled child. Your mother-in-law, though, is quite the and I'm glad your husband stood up for you to her. Comment 3. NTA. Sounds like your mother-in-law made an offer so she could get points for delivering the free time without being willing to do any of the work. She was also volunteering you when it would mean missing parts of your son's party, giving her an opportunity to step into your role. Volunteering anyone for any reason without clearing it with them first is just not on. She's wildly leaping over boundaries. So I, 22F, am dating Greg, 25M. His mom is Lisa, 70F. Last month we attended a funeral for a family member of Greg and Lisa. After the service, everyone was mingling in the fellowship hall and eating, and Lisa stepped out for a smoke break. I happened to see her, through one of the open church windows, get into the back seat of the car while lighting her cigarette, and then she started rummaging in the large bag that I brought along. I didn't think anything of it, as I had brought the bag so I could carry any extra things anybody needed, including lighters for instance, so I thought that's what she was fishing for. I went back to socializing and supporting Greg. Something that is relevant, but that I forgot at the time, is that I had left my wallet in that bag. Anyway, I stopped by the gas station 2 days later for some gas, and realized I was missing my card from my wallet. I used Apple Pay so I could get my gas, went home, and started searching. I also called Greg, who was at his parents' home, and asked if he could search there and see if I misplaced it somehow. I only take it out of my wallet if I'm using it and put it right back in, but I thought that maybe I was shuffling things in my wallet, put it down, and forgot about it. I didn't find my card, Greg didn't find my card, and I decided to give it one more day before I cancelled it because maybe it would just pop up. I had also not noticed any transactions through my bank app that weren't from me. The next day, Greg texted me saying he found my card on top of the washer. He said he doesn't know how he missed it, but it was there waiting when he went to do some laundry. I told him I'd get it from him in a couple days when he came back to our apartment. The next day was payday. I checked my account to see what I made, and I noticed directly below the direct deposit was a withdrawal for an Amazon order. I haven't placed an order for anything from Amazon in weeks, and checking on my account confirmed that. I asked Greg if he used my card to make a purchase, and he said no, of course not, he would never do so without asking. I cancelled the card and reported potential fraud, and then it was discovered that Lisa has used my card for the purchase because she couldn't find hers. She said she would pay me back soon, and that she really needed it. I don't know what she bought, but I don't care considering she stole my card. She also apparently has a history with gambling and stealing. She has taken money from Greg before, and a driving factor of her divorce with Greg's father was that she stole most of his savings while they were separated. He has never recovered the money, but it was almost $500,000. I decided I would involve the cops, and now Lisa is furious and saying I'm being a brat and a lot of other insults and that I could have just waited for her to pay me back. Even though she also has a rep of not paying people. Comment 1. NTA, people need to be responsible for their actions, especially at this level. You know you cannot trust her because of her history of theft. Actions have consequences. If you don't do anything, she'll just continue her ways and expect everyone to turn a blind eye and be okay with what she's doing. Comment 2. The woman, seemingly, has a damaged brain that you are powerless to fix. Calling the police was the right thing to do. This isn't Greg's fault, and as long as he doesn't get overly defensive, don't blame him. In the long run, he needs to put up a wall between his life and hers that only allows for basic communication to pass. Until he does this, you should not financially support him, live with him, or marry him. Comment 3. NTA, theft is theft, and not addressing it just continues to enable that behavior. I was in a relationship with a woman with 3 children, and her oldest stole and damaged my car, thousands in damage, when he was not even old enough to have a license, and her daughter stole money and items from me. I wanted to press charges in both cases but allowed the ex to talk me out of it. I deeply regret that, as it was an opportunity to teach them consequences. 70 is a bit old to learn, but it already cost her marriage. She might as well face the consequences of this action. What if it was your rent or mortgage money she took? It could have had a huge effect on your life. My mom hasn't been the greatest in the past. She can be really rude and was catty. She didn't get off to a good start with my wife due to her own rude and self-centered behavior, but I took my wife's side and laid down boundaries. My mom gets that she can't be rude these days. I fully get my wife will never like her, mom probably won't like her either, and we all just avoid each other for the most part. Don't get me wrong. It makes me sad as I used to be close to my family, but wife comes first. We recently got married and it was a nearly perfect day. The one issue that aroused is my mom had a fairly large, very noticeable food coloring stain on her cheek, about the size of a lighter. Obviously she wasn't happy about this and wanted it covered. She never does her own makeup and knows very little about makeup. The makeup artist was a friend of my wife's and knew all the drama about my mom. She told her she would try, but the makeup would have to be darker to hide it. She and my wife giggled ahead of time and decided to duck with her. She made it super dark, like orange. My mom has fair skin, so it looked ridiculous. My mom seemed to believe her that nothing lighter would cover it and just removed all the makeup and went on with her big pink blotch. I didn't know about this at the time, but we recently got back from our honeymoon and my wife hosted a dinner to look at wedding pictures. Her friends all began laughing about what they did to my mom. This was the first time I heard about it, and I said that was kind of mean girlish. My wife gave me a look. Her friends kept saying it was funny and my mom is dumb and got what she deserved. At this point I got annoyed and said they acted like middle school bullies and they should be embarrassed. Whatever my mom had done in the past, she was not the problem on the wedding day. This might be way too far, but I said at least she laughed it off and moved on with her spot. They would have spent the whole day insecure and worried about Instagram. When they left, my wife became very upset and said I should be on her side 100%, not 95%, and that I humiliated her by speaking to her friends like that. She accused me of being a mama's boy. Comment 1. NTA. You were correct, your wife was acting like a middle school bully, not an adult. And being her husband does not mean you support her blindly, it means you have the courage to tell her when she is going down a bad path. This is not being a mama's boy, this is being a good and moral human being. If she wants you to be behind her 100%, then she needs to act like a grown-up. Comment 2. NTA. Your wife and friends behaved like mean girls. If your mom had done something that day or planned to do so, then yes, I can see them doing something in response. Your wife went out of her way to humiliate your mom in a way that would be obvious for years to come in those wedding photos. If anything, your mom has been the mature one. She had every right to go on the makeup artist's social media and leave reviews about how she purposely used makeup to make her appear orange for her son's wedding and then mocked her and called her stupid. Not the work of a professional. You are not a mama's boy. You are an adult. Your wife is behaving like a child. Comment 3. NTA. Yes, your wife and her friend would be justified in pulling that prank if your mum was intent on somehow ruining your wedding day. But since that wasn't the case, it was just mean and unnecessary. If your mum has actually learned to stay in her lane, then there was no reason to be cruel to her. Your wife doesn't have to ever like your mum, but that was just not okay. You putting your foot down about that doesn't make you a mama's boy. I, 35F, have a daughter Kelly, 16F, with my ex-husband Josh, 37M. We separated when Kelly was 10. Since then Josh got married again to Lily, 30F. Kelly mostly stays with me but also have her own room at Josh's house, which is significantly bigger than mine. It is important to note Kelly is not really a picky eater and usually cooks for herself as she enjoys cooking and trying new things. However, she is very particular about how she wants her hot drinks done, like hot chocolate with milk only and no water, or tea without any milk or sugar, as she collects different types and feels adding milk or sugar ruins it. Now, unfortunately, Kelly had to go through an operation and currently can't move by herself and needs help. Josh suggested to have her stay at his house as he has more room and Lily can look after Kelly while he is at work since she is a housewife. They don't have any children together. Lily also agreed it will be for the best. Both me and Kelly went with the plan, as I won't be able to be with her 24/7 due to my work and lack of cover, and I won't be able to afford being off work for long as I have to pay for her operation alongside with other medical bills. It was a week on Friday since Kelly was staying with Josh and Lily, and I would spend time with her in the evenings, when Kelly called me and asked me to take her home. I have asked what is wrong, and she told me Lily kept messing with her drinks or serving her drinks she can't have, like coffee, due to her meds, and when my daughter tried to raise it with her, Lily said if Kelly doesn't like it she can make her own, knowing perfectly well my daughter is currently bedbound. I took her home and have told my ex I am expecting him to cover the medical bills and some of my expenses since Lily failed to do her job and her treatment of Kelly. I have refused to give her a second chance despite Josh asking me to and was called in a hole by him and my in-laws. Comment 1. Not sure where you are located, but if your daughter is bed-bound for 2-ish months and healing for up to 8 months, she would be eligible for home health care. At least for the time she is bed-bound. No reason for you to quit work. Licensed caregivers will come to your home and help her bathe, get her meals, etc. You can set her up with a thermos of plain tea and snacks and go to work. Make arrangements with neighbors, friends and other family to look in on her. I think this situation has given you your perfect excuse to quit your job and have your ex support you. Just kills you that Lily is stay at home, doesn't it? Look into better care for your daughter that involves professionals and go back to work. It will be better and safer for you, daughter. Comment 2. NTA. It's honestly not about the tea. It's about how Lily's actions made your daughter feel unwelcome in her own father's place. Lily seemed to have been deliberately messing up simple things because, A, she doesn't care enough, B, she didn't want to take care of your daughter but your ex-husband made her do it, and now this is her way of acting out. Either way, it's just gonna cause unnecessary stress to your daughter while she's recovering. It's better if she stays with you.